Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Merrill Kane with the Chevrolet Detroit Grand Prix presented by Lear. We are 30 days away from the Chevrolet Detroit Grand Prix presented by Lear returning to the streets of downtown Detroit. It's been since 1991, so 32 years since we've had a race here in the Motor City, and we couldn't be more excited. We're sitting here in our luxurious new media center inside the Renaissance Center, so we're very excited to kind of christen this event and get everything rolling. And we wanted to spend some time with you talking a little bit about social media and what you can expect to see from our team at the Grand Prix, and also hear a little bit about some of our guests and some of our key partners, and they'll focus on what they're going to be doing around the Grand Prix in 2023. We're happy to have all of our partners on board here and appreciate your time today. We'll run through what we're going to cover here in just a minute, but we thought we'd give you guys a little bit of a preview of what we're going to see here on the streets of Detroit in just about 30 days. I think there's volume here, but if we can get to that.
Chevrolet Detroit
There we
Grand
go.
Prix presented by Lear. Let's go.
All right, I'll take my word for it. There's some really cool music there that goes along with this. It's kind of funny that we're sitting in GM World Headquarters here, and the only voice that we heard there was Mark Royce, who's president of General Motors. So I think there's something apropos there, but we'll try to fix the audio issues that we had there on the video for the other videos that we have coming up here. But thank you very much for joining us again. We're really excited to kind of share some of our plans on social media and how we're looking to amplify the message around the Grand Prix as we get a little bit closer to race day and race weekend here in the Motor City. Earlier today, hopefully you all received the social media toolkit that we shared around with all of our partners. We can't express how much that is going to be a valuable tool for all of you as we lean forward into race day and race weekend here in Detroit. A lot of great information in there, including kind of our philosophy, some of the opportunities that are available for all of our partners. Probably the most valuable thing that we have in there is all the handles and the hashtags associated with the competitors that are going to be featured here at the Grand Prix, from all the NTT IndyCar Series teams and drivers and manufacturers, everybody on the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge Series, the Trans Am Series presented by Pirelli, and Indy Next by Firestone. So all the drivers that will be participating, and of course, all of you. We've got the handles and hashtags for all of our partners that are included in there too, and we encourage you to use those as often as you can and as much as you can. Try to get your social channels up and running with some really great content. We're here to help with that. We'll cover a lot of that as we go along here in the summit, but please keep that toolkit handy as we do think it's going to be really valuable for all of you to activate and get the most out of your partnership with the Grand Prix. We're excited that we're going to hear from some great partners who are with us today, including representatives from Chevrolet, Comerica Bank, Gardner White, along with the NTT IndyCar Series. All great partners, all going to talk a little bit about their activation around this event. Also introduce you to the new members of our social media team. We are pleased to welcome aboard a brand new team this year through Michigan Creative. We have Brian, who's on the line with us, and is going to talk a little bit about that. Brian Town, who oversees the team at Michigan Creative, and he'll talk to you a little bit about how the team's going to formulate and help gather content and highlight all of our partners during race weekend. We also want to focus a little bit on some of the best content to gather and the best social practices for the way you gather and activate that content. Again, we're here to help. We're here to make sure that we facilitate what you need and help you tell your story around this event. And of course, we'll have some time for Q&A at the end of the summit here today. So without further ado, we'll transfer into hearing from some of our partners, and those are some of the key contacts. We mentioned the toolkit, we mentioned the social strategy. We'll share all this afterwards. We'll send around our deck so you have the key contacts here. But we mentioned Brian Town, who oversees the team at Michigan Creative. Teddy Jewell is our kind of day-to-day posting and content person. Myself and Edward Williams, who's also on the line here with us, your Grand Prix communications team. And then we're excited to have Justin Rose back on board with us as our lead host on our social media program. You will hear coming up from Brian and Justin as we talk a little bit more about what we're going to be planning for race weekend. As we move forward, we're pleased to welcome on board Joe Mara, who's a social media specialist with the NTT IndyCar Series. And Joe, thanks for spending a few minutes with us here today. Happy that you could join us. And I think for all of our partners that are on the line, probably not aware of all that IndyCar does on the social media front, not only just to promote the series, but also to promote the individual events. And obviously, Chevrolet Detroit Grand Prix presented by Lear, one of the key events on the IndyCar calendar this year, the only kind of new racing circuit for IndyCar this year. But with the move to downtown Detroit, I know that there's a lot of great opportunity for content. So we can have you talk about that a little bit. What are you excited about, and what can we expect to see on the IndyCar channels as we head towards race weekend?
Yeah, no, we're really excited. And I think from our perspective for content specifically, we'll focus on the return to Detroit, like going back downtown, back to the streets of Detroit. So as you lead up into that week, you'll see a lot of content focused on old races. We've been doing that a lot recently on our content side. And then obviously promoting that's a new track that's big for us going into 2023, looking at the year as a whole. And then you'll see graphics, videos, digital reminders leading up into the week itself for the Detroit Grand Prix. And then a lot of times we'll share out to teams, drivers, everybody, other promoters for other tracks, going into the weekend to promote on social. And then there's obviously opportunities to share that content with the actual partners of the Detroit Grand Prix. So.
Yeah, that's great, Joe. And it's really valuable assets that you guys create. And I know for our perspective at Detroit GP, we use the heck out of that at each race weekend. And obviously we'll share all that information. But when you talk about ways that, partners like the ones who are on with us today on the summit, who are really more partners, not necessarily for the overall series, there's some who are, but maybe just focused on this event and the opportunities for them to share content. What's the easiest way for them to do that? Is it for us as Detroit GP providing that content to them, or is there another method for it?
Yeah, obviously you guys can post the stuff that Meryl will send over or will send over, but then honestly just promoting the event itself. So like whether you're out of the track, posting from those channels, posting your activations, whatever it may be, that's huge for us. It gets the name out of the series and obviously the Detroit Grand Prix too. And it's a perfect integration of what's going on your guys' side and what's going on our side for the series itself.
So obviously, and you've got, appreciate you putting in here, the handles and hashtags to kind of focus on with IndyCar and Indy Next. And maybe that's another area that we can try to encourage our partners to focus on. Obviously, IndyCar, big series that races, great tradition in Detroit, races on Sunday of our event. Indy Next is also under the IndyCar domain now, and the rising stars of the open wheel racing that we hope we're going to see up in IndyCar within the next couple of years here. And you also kind of help run the social media for Indy Next as well, don't you?
Yes, I do as well.
So Indy Next, and I guess maybe some good advice that you might guide. I mean, I think obviously, partners as well as the events themselves want to get that viral aspect of it, right? That engaging content that is shared and people can't wait to see it, click on their phones and see what it's all about. What advice can you give for best ways to kind of engage with drivers and teams and even the series itself?
I think obviously using the hashtags, make sure you guys are using the hashtags, tagging the accounts so that content that you guys are posting is actually shareable for us. And then when it comes to the drivers, a lot of them, especially on the Indy Next side, are really good about resharing, and same with the NTT IndyCar Series side. So I think making sure that you have all those handles correct every single time you're posting is a huge thing for us, and then helps us be able to reshare your guys' content as well.
Yeah, so that when we're talking about the toolkit that we sent around earlier, that's where I think it's got a lot of value and again, something to keep handy and close to the vest during race weekend. Even if you're not at the track and if you're posting from home, great way to engage, right? Because if you tag the drivers, tag the teams, tag the sponsors, a lot more opportunity to get the most mileage out of your post. So some good advice there. So Joe, thank you very much for spending a few minutes with us here today. We're looking forward to seeing all the content that IndyCar is going to share across all of its channels as we lead into race weekend here in Detroit. And I'm sure you will hear from us and many of the partners online here as we get close to race weekend.
Yep, looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. We want to shift gears now and hear from Adam Folk, who oversees the social media content for Team Chevy and Chevrolet and all their channels. Obviously, the premier partner with the Chevrolet Detroit Grand Prix presented by Lear, our title sponsor. We're sitting here in the headquarters of GM right now. And Adam, I know you're very, very active during race weekend. You've been doing this a few years and are always gracious to spend some time with us on our social media summit. And tell us a little bit about Team Chevy's plans heading into this all-important race back on the streets of Detroit.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thanks for having me. Always like coming out and being able to talk to everybody. And we're super excited about the race this year, being back downtown on the streets. So first of all, we have Team Chevy on social, right? Last bullet point on the slide down there. But make sure you're following and engaging with us at Team Chevy on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We're a little quiet on Twitter right now, but that doesn't mean that we aren't paying attention. So our overall channel viewpoint is that we want to bring the fans behind the scenes of all their favorite racing series. We're currently active in NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, NHRA, as well as Best in the Desert. So with that, obviously, we're going to be focusing on IndyCar this coming weekend, or the Detroit Grand Prix weekend, I should say. So we have a couple special initiatives and opportunities that we're taking, kind of grabbing the bull by the horns at the track that weekend. We are working with IndyCar on having a first-person POV with a couple of the Team Chevy drivers for a lap of the track. This is going to be in the pace car. So it provides a really cool perspective of hearing the drivers talk about the track, what they like, what they might not like. Obviously seeing and hearing the car that they're driving around in, that's the pace car that you'll see hopefully only a couple times during the race. And then also gives you the first person POV of what is happening on the track, what it looks like. So we always really appreciate our partnership with IndyCar, the social team at IndyCar doing that with us. We're also planning on doing driver interviews at the Chevrolet display. We'll be highlighting those on social, but if you are in attendance, please stop by. We'll have a schedule posted with who's going to be there and what times. Always some really good insights from the drivers and an opportunity to get an autograph or two. We're planning on doing a women in motorsports panel. We did this, I believe, last year to some good fanfare. Brought representatives from a bunch of different Chevy teams, that the women from those Chevy teams over to the display and held a panel discussion. It really provides some good insight, and it's always awesome to see some little girls and women and gather and really get excited about the opportunities that are available for them. And it isn't, just a male-driven sport. We're planning on doing a tech talk with the team engineer. Haven't figured out specifically which team yet, but it will happen. Talking about a walk around of a car, kind of giving the deep down insights that they can share of an Indy car. We're going to be doing some driver-led vehicle walkarounds or a display tour with the Team Chevy driver, as well as a day in the life of a Team Chevy IndyCar driver. So kind of following them around, putting together a nice piece of everything that happens for them at the Detroit Grand Prix. And then also, if you don't want to follow or tag, which we would sincerely appreciate, feel free to use hashtag Team Chevy. That'll allow us to be able to track and potentially engage with your posts. Obviously, if you tag us, specifically on Instagram or Facebook, it'll provide us an opportunity to potentially share your content as well on our stories. We are pretty heavy on story content throughout the race weekends. This is our easiest and best opportunity to showcase everything that happens at track, which is a lot. So If you're at track, you'll probably see me running around a bit, trying to capture everything and everything all at once.
Adam, when you think about the experience that you've had here around this event, obviously focused on Belle Isle, any advice or words of wisdom that you can share with our partners here today that kind of indicates what you've noticed in terms of the content that's shared that gets the most traffic, gets the most gets the most views? Any good advice that you can offer up there?
Yeah, sure. So ultimately, what we found is driver and car focused content, right? If you can get the two together, it usually provides a better opportunity for fans to engage, because they might want the insights from the driver, or they might just want to see pretty pictures or video of the car. If you combine the two, it typically carries a little more weight. Flybys are always really good, showcasing the speed of the cars. Pit work is always a major one as well. The general public doesn't necessarily always get to see everything that happens behind the scenes. And that could be as simple as, watching a pit stop happen and just getting a different angle than what you would see on TV. Or even focusing on a specific crew member that while they're doing a pit stop. If that's for a car that you're sponsoring, or just one that you are a fan of. Maybe you're a fan of that driver, either or.
Really good advice there, Adam. And I think that, it's something that our partners can pay attention to. I think we've talked a lot about this in the event in the sense that over half the circuit's going to be open and available to fans for free. So areas like the fan zone, the Meyer fan zone, located in Hart Plaza, the Riverwalk, which will feature our new Victory Circle right in front of the Renaissance Center in the Winter Garden, Spirit Plaza, Hart Plaza. All of those are going to be very active areas and open for free. But some of that behind the scenes content in the paddock, you do need to have a pass or a ticket to get into the race paddock. A little bit different than what we've had on Belle Isle, and a lot of our partners will have that access. Obviously, whether you have a suite behind the pits or you have passes and access, so you can utilize that to your advantage for fans that aren't able to get inside and see what goes on in the paddock, in the garages or pit lane. Don't be afraid to utilize your access there and highlight that in your social channels. That's good advice there for content that really seems to get a lot of mileage, Adam.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks very much for your time today. Again, if you guys don't follow Team Chevy, you're missing the boat, because there's a lot of great content there that everyone on the team provides during the course of race weekend, and we look forward to seeing how you guys are going to highlight it this year. So thanks, Adam, for your time today, and we appreciate that. We're going to bring in now Matt Barnhart with Comerica Bank. And Comerica, we announced last week, very happy to extend the partnership now to a decade of serving as our exclusive partner for Free Prix Day. So Comerica Bank Free Prix Day will take place on Friday, June 2nd. And a lot of really cool activation always goes on Free Prix Day. And Matt, with that, we'll let you take it away and kind of talk about some of the plans and activation that you plan to share with your team.
Yeah, thanks, Merrill. I appreciate that. Yes, obviously with the change of the streets and the opening of the access, it created a little bit of a different view of how we're doing Free Prix Day this year. Collectively, we wanted to continue the tradition. It dates back to 1982. Our partnership is now going on 10 years strong, and we have a partnership that's based kind of on twofold. One is impacting community by providing them free access to the race and experiences that they may not be able to achieve otherwise. This year, we are opening up, courtesy of the Grand Prix, opening up some grandstands that are ticketed space for Free Prix Day, so people can access those that they normally wouldn't have. So that's kind of the key, fan engagement in terms of Free Prix Day. But for us, Free Prix Day is also an opportunity to teach and learn and to educate and connect students in the local community to auto racing, and through our partnership, they may not normally have that opportunity. A week ago, we did a virtual engagement with over 400 students, and it was the third year we've done this, and thanks to Merrill's help, it was probably the best one we've had yet. So 400 kids got to see and talk to some individuals behind the scenes, from Rob Reed to a couple drivers that, they wouldn't even have a chance before without this partnership. So we're excited this year to expand upon our relationship and bring Harper Woods High School to Free Pre-Day for a special behind the scenes field trip and tour, which we've done in the past. A lot of those, the specifics on that field trip in terms of who they're going to see and talk to is still being work in progress. Last year, they met with the medical team and some drivers, and it was great. And we're going to continue to do some of those things as well this year. I think one of the things that we can do with some of the people involved in this call is to provide a final schedule of those meetings. So if we happen to connect with your driver, your engineer, whoever that is, at the end of the day, you can see the students and maybe post that as well. So we have the Harper Woods Twitter and Facebook account that we posted if indeed you are posting about our field trip, as well as Comerica Free Pre-Day hashtags that you can use, as well as our handles. But again, this is a great partnership, and most importantly for us, it's an opportunity to impact the community and hopefully get kids engaged in auto racing that they may have not had otherwise.
Yeah, Matt, you guys do a great job every year with this, reaching out to a new group of students. And I think, the engagement that you mentioned that we had last week was a lot of fun. A chance to interact. Jamie Chadwick, a female racer driver who has really, really great words of advice and wisdom for the kids. And that's what it's really all about that day, is opening up new opportunities for new students and trying to, expose them to maybe possibly a career in motorsports and racing, or even just education on STEM, right, with everything that goes on around racing. So what kind of content do you guys usually gather and share, and what have you found is most successful that you use on the Comerica channel during Free Pre-Day?
Yeah, well, we continue to try to improve it every year. Our social team and the agency that we work with will be on site with us. And a lot of it's just kind of walking through the day and providing updates on where our students are at, what they're doing, see how they're engaging with the individuals and, features at the Grand Prix, and just kind of give, walk our, people who follow us on our social platforms, give them a peek of like what's happening that day. So that's something that we have really tried to elevate, whether it's through pictures or some video clips or whatnot. So that's something that we'll do, is we'll be following the field trip through that process.
Awesome. And I think that there are ways that obviously partners here can get involved with Free Pre-Day. And I think one of those opportunities is, and I'm glad you put your contact information and Helen's contact information here as well. If you're a partner that you think you'd be interested in hosting, the group of kids from Harper Woods for an experience, as Matt says, we're still kind of putting together the schedule and the agenda for the students that they'll be bringing to the track. But even beyond just the Harper Woods students, which I'm sure they will have a full weekend of activities or full day of activities on Free Pre-Day, we get a lot of students and student groups and classes. Even since last week's announcement about Free Pre-Day, we've had over 5 schools or community groups that have reached out to us directly about trying to get involved and bring classes to the track. So if there are any partners here participating in the summit where you think it would be interesting or an opportunity to host a group of students and kind of showcase what you're doing around the Grand Prix, or highlight some of the STEM education and lessons learned, I know that Matt would be happy to see if we can fit that into the agenda, and we certainly would too. So that's another way that people can get involved, right, Matt?
Yeah, that's correct. We're going to have about 35 to 40 students on this field trip. We're going to bring them out and let them see and get connected to some awesome features and awesome behind the scenes stuff. So we're going to treat them for lunch. So there'll be an opportunity during lunch to also talk to them. So it's a nice full day, anywhere starting from like 9:15 to 9:30 and going up to like 1:30, 2 o'clock, depending on their school schedule. But that's about the time range that we have. And they probably would have on average probably 4 or 5 different visits, I think, during the course of the day to different areas. So there are great opportunities. If anybody has any suggestions, getting these kids over to see one of your drivers or whatever, please feel free to reach out to Merrill and his team, and we'll get them connected. And it's a great day. It's been successful, and every year the kids have walked away excited about what they've seen, and it's a really cool part of the day to see their reaction on having a fun-filled day at Comerica Free Prix Day.
Yeah, there's always a lot of smiles, a lot of wide eyes, and a lot of lessons learned on Free Prix Day. So,
yep.
Matt, the hashtag, because I know there's the whole Comerica Bank thing. Give us the best hashtag and handles that everybody should focus on.
Yeah. So, the simplest way is Comerica Free Prix Day. In terms of a hashtag, we have hashtag Free Prix Day. Unfortunately, our handles, in terms of Twitter and so forth, some of them have a bank in them, some of them don't. So we kind of list them there. But in general, Comerica Free Prix Day on social media and in, PR materials is fine. You don't necessarily need the bank. In Southeast Michigan, we've created enough, cachet in terms of our branding. Comerica Free Prix Day makes it nice and easy. And the simplest way to follow that is that's how we made the new logo this year, which we have lined with the marks of the new Grand Prix logo. So you can follow that line if you kind of forget what to put in there.
Yeah, Matt, we appreciate it. Great program. I'm really excited that we're able to continue the tradition that started back in 1982. I think it's very unique in motorsports. Not many other events, if any, do this, especially on an annual basis for well over 40 years now. So we appreciate the partnership and thank you for sharing some of your plans and activation around that day with all of our partners here today. Thank you.
Yep, thank you, Merrill.
We are also really excited to bring in Jeanette McNamara with Gardner White. Jeanette and Gardner White have come up with a really cool promotion and activation around this year's Chevrolet Detroit Grand Prix presented by Lear. I think this is another one that's going to get a lot of active pickup on social media, opportunity for some really great content. So we'll bring Jeanette in here, and Jeanette, you can tell us a little bit about, I don't want to steal your thunder, so we'll let you introduce the program and talk a little bit about what you guys are going to be doing around the Grand Prix.
Sure. Thanks, Merrill. We're thrilled to partner with the Grand Prix this year in its return to the streets of Detroit. And really, it's going to be an all month long activation to kind of lean into its return to Detroit, just through partnership with our community, our customer base, and really just get everybody excited about the Grand Prix. So we're actually going to kick off this Thursday with what we're calling the Best Seats in the House contest. The portion of the Grand Prix in which we sponsored at the Hairpin is what we're kind of calling the Best Seats in the House. And it's going to be an enter to win via our website and or QR codes that's in stores that will also be promoted across all of our social media channels. The contest will really run for about 2 weeks from 5/4 through 5/18. And then we're going to hold a pre-pre party at our Gardner White location, currently at the 14 Mile store in Warren. That may get moved. So stay tuned for that, just due to some construction that we just found out about locally here. But we're really going to kind of kick that off and announce the winner live at our pre-pre party, is what we're calling it, at our Gardner White location, and really making it just a family fun event, where we'll bring the Indy show car in to have on display. We're going to have a DJ, a fun 360 video booth that will be co-branded with both the Grand Prix and Gardner White on it, just to kind of get some excitement for people to share across their social media platforms. In addition to just slot car racing and fun activities for families and, food, drinks, etc. In addition, we're going to also have a live social media giveaway at the pre-pre party where they can post their 360 videos, and that will be just another enter to win contest that we are going to do on a Facebook/Instagram live stream on the Friday after the event, which will be super exciting. And then during the party, we're going to give away another set of both Saturday and Sunday Grand Prix grandstand tickets as people come into the event to register, so that we can just have some live giveaways, lean into just their big return to the streets of Detroit, and just kind of celebrate it all together. And then during Grand Prix race weekend in our booth from June 2nd to the 4th, we're going to have a face in hole where people can, take their pictures of having fun downtown, enjoying the event, and enter to win different types of prizes and giveaways via social media with our hashtag GW Best Seats and tagging our GW Instagram page. So all those winners will be chosen via live Instagram on Monday after the event, just thanking everybody for coming down, joining in the celebration, and just really leaning into just family and great community engagement.
It's awesome, Jeanette. Yeah, you guys have really done a great job putting together a whole strategy around your activation. That's exactly, what we hope to see our partners do, right? You've got a lot of great insight into, the specific channels you're looking to try and focus on, a lot of great content that you kind of built in there, with the in-store appearances as well as the online contest. So as you look ahead to this, what do you think your best opportunities for engagement are with any partners that can, kind of support your efforts on what you're going to do for Best Seat in the House, along with everything that you got going on here leading into race weekend?
Really, it's just about liking us, tagging us, sharing our contest. We invite everybody to come into our event on 5/18 to really kick off the Grand Prix. And anyone who wants to get involved in that event, we're happy to host. Anyone else inside our stores, if they wanted to get in and promote anything that they would want to promote.
And as we move forward here, we talk a little bit more about some of the services that we can provide to kind of help amplify all of our partner messages. This is a great example, right? Because I think you guys have some really cool activation that's going on before, as well as during race weekend. So I think you can count on seeing our Detroit GP cameras in your area, capturing kind of that whole hole in the face activation, or face in the hole activation that you're going to be doing on social media throughout the course of the weekend. But this is a great example. You guys have, for any partners on the line, you got some cool activation that goes on during the race, things you want to highlight, programs that you want to promote. This is our opportunity to kind of help you tell that story and use it on our channels and encourage, everyone to kind of share it on their own channels. So some really good content here, Jeanette. So thank you very much for sharing that. And I guess we're probably not eligible to win the Best Seats in the House, though, right? At the Grand Prix, I'm not eligible for that.
Probably
No,
not.
probably in the rules somewhere. But thank you very much. We look forward to that. And I know you're right. Turn 3, the hairpin is going to be the place to be. There's going to be a lot of action there, coming off of a 0.70 mile straightaway and into a really wide hairpin where drivers are going to get really brave. So I think those folks that have the best seat in the house truly will have the best seat to the action. So we look forward to seeing how that all goes. And we wish you all the luck in the world. And we're happy to support all of this on social media, on our own social channels. So thank you very much, Jeanette. We appreciate that.
Thanks, Meryl.
I want to turn it over now to Brian Town with Michigan Creative. Happy to have Brian and his team on board leading the charge for us as we head into a very, very important event, returning to the streets of downtown Detroit. And that's probably a good place to pick it up, Brian. With all the momentum, the excitement building around the Grand Prix and its return downtown, plenty of opportunities to be active on social media. So what's the team focused on, and what do our partners need to know?
Yeah, thanks, Meryl. Yeah, we couldn't be more excited about this, and not just because it's downtown again, but really for our first time doing the Detroit Grand Prix in social media and video. My team is really excited about this. We've already been capturing stories leading up to this, and we're getting really good shares and likes and views on all the social media. So pretty much, everything that you have seen from last year plus more. And so we're doing a combination of the team this year. We're bringing about half the staff that was with us last year. Video, photo, social media, and then also some hosts that you'll meet one of the hosts today that was also there last year. So a ton of video content. I think we're going to have something like 6 or 7 video producers on set doing interviews, doing slow motion, doing crowd reactions and interviews. Then also visiting your areas and doing partner activations. And so you'll have my contact information, and you'll be hearing from myself and the team because we want to come see you down there on the racetrack during race weekend. And so we'll be there pretty much the whole weekend, just covering. And then another thing too is to just, again, I want to emphasize, use the hashtags, take a look at what other partners are sharing and reshare. And then we're going to have a ton of content already we do leading up to. So feel free to share away. I think that's the biggest thing. And then also just tell stories. I think there's a lot of stories besides the amazing race and the cars and the teams that are going to be there. There's so many other stories that we can tell, and we're excited to do that and excited to help you tell that story. So tons of video, tons of photos. And then we really want to talk about bringing it back to the streets of Detroit. I think everyone downtown is really excited about this. And there's just a lot of activities happening during race and before, and then also after. So take a look at our Facebook and our Twitter, Instagram. Also, you'll start to see videos show up on YouTube and as on TikTok as the videos start to get produced throughout the course of the days. And then we'll also be talking to the fans. We've got 3 hosts this year. We really want to see all types of fans. You know, this is open to anyone and everyone, and we want to get young and old and new and lifelong fans of the sport, and see how they like the course and see how they like the weekend and Detroit. With that, there's also we're going to be doing videos at the end of each day, as well as a wrap-up video of all 3 days that you guys will have access to as well. And we'll just play a quick clip of that, and we'll be sending those out at the end of each day.
Levels, new records, hey, what I say, it's new levels, new records. You just didn't never second, no. Man and voice is not a perfect, no. That's the rest of you. New level, go.
Third year, 22
Yeah, and as you can see, there's audio obviously in that's music and interviews, and it's not playing across on the webinar like we'd like it to, but you get the idea. That'll be a wrap-up video that we'll do at the end of each race, and you guys will have access to that, and you can share that. And then also don't forget to use the hashtags that we'll have. The other piece I wanted to mention too is the media kit that you all have. Take that with you. That'll have everything that you need on there for the race weekend. Couple things that we'll be doing is we'll stop by and participate in interviews on multiple social platforms. We'll be recording those and then editing those and putting those out as soon as we possibly can turn those around. Also have photos and videos captured, so our team will be coming around of where your engagement areas are, and then also have interviews in front of your branding. And so we'll have a lot of this start to come out as we get closer and closer, but these are all things that you're going to see our team around and capturing footage, and also posting on all of the social throughout the course of the weekend. So connect with us. We'll come see you for sure, but also connect with us ahead of time if you've got some great ideas. We'd love to help. Here's a quick interview, very similar to what you'll see during race weekend. As we'll stop by, you'll notice a couple things here. Try to get a good area where it's set up in front of your brand. And then we'll be doing interviews and asking questions that we'll be posting out. So basically how it works is we'll do those interviews and then we'll run them back to the editing booth where Meryl is sitting and then posting those out on social media.
Hey, it's Lauren Cannon at the Chevrolet Detroit Grand Prix presented by Lear, this time in the gorgeous Hitachi suite, hanging out with Richard Brown, the Global Communications Manager from Hitachi. And thanks for having us. What a weekend for you guys.
What's that?
I said, what a fun weekend for you guys.
It's fantastic to be here.
Yeah.
It's great to be a part of this scene.
Yeah.
So we're really pleased to be part of this the Penske team and sponsor Penske that way.
I know this is a big weekend for you guys as a big sponsor for Team Penske, obviously in Mr. Penske's backyard for Chevrolet. We're going to see you guys all over the number 2 with Joseph Newgarden, so we know who you're pulling for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
That's just the style of the kind of questions that we'll ask, and Lauren will be there on some of the days too. And so that's kind of the expectations of what you can get. Plus, like we said before, photos and videos of what the activation would look like. Couple things that I'm really excited about, and this is just, as you know, it's a big weekend in Detroit. These are not necessarily related to the Grand Prix, but they are happening at the same time, and they are talking about the Grand Prix. So there are all kinds of events. These are a small handful of things that are going on during that weekend. So we just wanted you to be aware. We'll start releasing more and more on the social media for Grand Prix. But there's an Extreme Fighting Championship on Friday night. There's a boxing match at Ford Field on Saturday, and it's from with Flint's world champion boxer Clarissa Shields defending her title. So local, Detroit, Flint. And then our Detroit is hosting their best of 2023 Friday, June 2nd. So again, that's just 3 events. There's a lot more and a lot of things that are happening. So those are great things to take a look for, to reshare, and also just be aware of that it is related. And they will be talking about the Grand Prix. And it's probably one of the only reasons that they picked those weekends to come back down to Detroit for these.
Yeah, it's one of the benefits that I think we get, with the Grand Prix and the excitement about the return downtown. Brian wanted our partners to be aware of this. These are 3 events that have literally just come up in the last month that all are tying in kind of a Grand Prix theme, building off the theme of the event coming back downtown. I think everybody understands it's going to be a huge weekend in Detroit. It's going to be an opportunity to engage all across the city. So we're excited that there's these other events that are, adding to the excitement of that weekend. And again, will we see a ton of social coverage on our channels? Probably not, because we're really focused on what we have going on here at the track, but we're also going to support them as best we can, especially, considering that they all have a little bit of a Grand Prix theme to them. We just wanted everyone to be aware that this is probably not the end of this list. This list is going to probably continue to grow over the next month.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Merrill. Wanted to introduce, and Merrill, why don't you introduce our next guest? Justin is back again with us for the Detroit Grand Prix, taking the lead role as a host for us to do the interviews. And then he's going to come on and say a few words. Merrill, you want to take it from here?
Yeah, for sure. So we're really happy to have Justin back on the team. Kind of made his debut. We were used to working with him on the news side for a number of years with WXYZ, Channel 7 for many years, carried the races. And then Justin's kind of formed his own business, his own company for content gathering, and brought him on board as a host last year. Did a great job. Also worked with us in Iowa, and I think he really has a lot of fun. Has a way to really kind of connect with fans. Drivers also kind of like him a little bit as well. He always has a lot of fun and pokes fun at them. So Justin is going to be a key member of our team, and I think he's really creative in ways to engage with companies and with partners and try to find a way to tell your story in a creative and fun way around the Grand Prix. So we want to make sure we introduce Justin to everybody. Justin Rose, thanks for joining us, and thanks for being part of our team and back here in the streets of Detroit.
Oh, I couldn't be more honored for you guys to bring me back for this event. I'm super, super excited for it to be down in the streets. Belle Isle was a great home for so many years of covering all the way back to 2014 for me. So all of those years, and for now to be back on the streets, it's super exciting. And I'm excited to tell all the stories that come with that. I do want to start by saying thank you to all of the sponsors and all of the partners. Without you guys and your engagement over the next month, the output and the excitement wouldn't be as high as it's going to be. So all of the things that you guys are planning, I'm learning about this pretty much for the first time. I've seen it over the years, but for this particular year, you guys are knocking it out of the park. So congratulations for you guys and your teams for the ideas that you guys have come up with. Super excited to meet many of you throughout the race weekend as well. So I'm excited. Let's go.
Justin, when you talk about this, and you're right, thanks to all of our partners for all you've done thus far, and please take advantage of the opportunities that we're presenting here in terms of photo, video, interviews, ways to highlight your brand. But Justin, as you look back on this, and I know you're big on social on your own channels as well. What kind of content do you think gets the most traction? The things that we should let our partners know, these are the things you should be thinking about and trying to find a creative way to illustrate that and get the word out during race weekend tied to the Grand Prix.
Well, first and foremost, I think that obviously engaging content is with cars and with drivers, but if you're thinking about what you're doing for your particular, area, whether it's your tent, whether it's your build-up, whether it's your pre-party, I think I said that right, for the for one of our partners, but it's your people. People are the number one resource, and the stories behind people, whether it's a triumphant return to something, whether it's somebody going above and beyond to highlight your company, or to, everyone loves a good comeback story or a positive spin on something. So if you have somebody that is doing, above and beyond work for you for this particular event, highlighting them and their involvement to get things. I love that we're having schools come down. Matt Barnhart and I go way back to when he was still with the Lions. So obviously I always would go to him and say, what people can we highlight in your organization for storytelling? So if you have people that are doing things behind the scenes that deserve to be, give a little kudos to, certainly those are stories that you want to help and share. So having high schools come down, having kids learn. I love the idea of having a female panel in racing. I've met a lot of the great women in this sport behind the scenes, on the teams, in the pits, doing things over the years. So having a panel like that is awesome to see. Growing anything that people can learn something new about this sport that they may think, oh, it's just drivers driving around. No, there's so much more. There's science, there's tech, there's math, there's community. There's just so much with IndyCar that I've learned to love over the last almost decade now. So it's super exciting. So if you have people like that, I'd be happy to have a conversation with anybody on this call about, hey, maybe I've got an idea for something. Please run it by me. I absolutely would love to help anybody out.
Yeah, please use Justin as a resource, you guys. As I said, he's really creative in how he kind of digests that content, turns it into something that's really creative and engaging, and really, I think, gets a lot of traction on social media. And I think one of the greatest things about working with you, Justin, is you have fun, man. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a fun event, right? We're not solving world hunger or anything like that. We're having fun and hosting a race, and I think that everything that we're doing here to try to make this a part of the fabric of downtown and bringing this event back to Detroit is really opening our arms and making sure the community has a chance to be involved and engaged and have a great time in Detroit. And you do a great job at showcasing that and having a little bit of fun yourself along the way.
Yeah, no, it's number one for me. It's supposed to be fun, so let's keep it that way. Let's do things that highlight our community, that highlight our people, that highlight our city, first and foremost, because it's such an awesome opportunity for Detroit. And I think that I cannot wait to see how it looks on TV and how I always look at those IndyCar races or F1 races that are overseas in those cities and stuff. And for Detroit to be back in this fashion, it's going to be beautiful. And I can't wait to, I've already wrote down a couple of ideas. But of course, Meryl's going to be like, I don't know if we can do that, but I'm going to try anyways, because they're going to be fun. They're going to be unique, and they're going to be something that people are going to want to engage with. So thanks again for having me. I'm super excited to meet many of you over the race weekend. And if you see me, don't hesitate to say hello.
Yeah, Justin, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Look forward to working with you again. And again, please use him as a resource, and also take advantage of the skills that he brings to the table, leading our team on the social media side. Brian, I'll turn it back over to you. I think we've got a couple other hosts that we want to make sure everyone knows is going to be part of our team during the weekend.
Yep, good. Yeah, we're super excited, Justin. Thanks for coming on, and we can't wait to work with you. This is going to be great. Lauren is back again this year. She's going to be with us on Thursday and Friday. So she'll be doing very similar to what she did last time. She has some experience in racing, obviously, and then she's done quite a bit of this work. So we're really excited to have Lauren back. So we're really having, two experienced hosts that love this sport, that have done it before many times. And so to have Lauren and Justin on the team, I think it's just a really big deal, and we're really excited. And again, I echo, what Justin said. We're really proud to have it back in Detroit. And I just think, we could have 20 people there covering and still wouldn't be able to cover all the amazing things that are happening. And then one more host that's going to be with us is Asia Branch, and Asia was Miss America in 2020. 2020. I work with Asia for another company, and she was really excited to be a part of this. We're going to use her primarily to get fan reactions and to see what everybody's doing, and really talk to people who maybe haven't been into an Indy race before, or really haven't been interested in before, but now they love it. And we want to hear that passion. And, I love to get that sort of, man, I had no idea. And I couldn't imagine that this would be like this. And so we're going to really use her to just see the fun and talk to everyday people that are there and enjoying both the race and things that are in and outside of the race. So excited to have her. She's really happy to be with us this year. So we've got some pretty good hosts. So you'll get to meet some really amazing people.
Great stuff. I think we're going to highlight a little bit of the best practices here. Again, we encourage you to kind of follow along on our toolkit. You know, our teams have been doing this for a while now, and Brian and his team are new to the Grand Prix, but they're certainly not new to social media. They understand it. They know the ins and outs of it. You know, Justin, Lauren, ourselves, you know, we've got some really great members of the team who knocked it out of the park every weekend that we've been doing this. So best practices here, some really good lessons to learn, you know, focusing on really engaging content, having fun, right? Showing people having fun, having a good time at the race, looking at how you can engage with drivers and teams and the racing series themselves, finding a creative way to kind of highlight your role in this race, whether it's having a display, showing what's going on inside your suite, whether it's, you know, following along all the action on the race and keeping up that you're actually following it, you're participating in it. I think these are all good best practices to learn and take advantage of. But I think probably the biggest thing is the toolkit and making sure that you're using the proper handles and the hashtags. You'll be amazed at how much different your engagement level can be when you're tagging the right people and you're hitting all the right spots, right? It's kind of like a pit stop. You got to hit your marks, and if everyone follows along and does that with the help of the toolkit that Edward on our team has worked very hard to pull this information together, you get a chance to see some of the team Chevy drivers here and their handles and hashtags. We really encourage you to follow along with that and make sure that you're utilizing that, because you'd be amazed at how many followers these guys have, how engaged they are, how at different points in the day you can kind of tell when they're off the track, right? Because you won't see anything from them on social media, but around lunchtime, they got a break in between practice and qualifying, or certainly at the end of the day, you'll see the numbers start to go up in a lot of content. And I'm sure if you guys tag them, you'll get a chance to benefit from a lot of that engagement. So really encourage you to use the toolkit. The other thing we wanted to make sure that you're aware of as we kind of click through the next couple of slides here is we have, you saw that our main video at the beginning there, our sizzle video that we just updated, we also have a 30-second version of this that's a little bit shorter, a little bit more digestible for social media. We're going to share this with all of our partners. Coming up as a follow-up, we're going to send out some more information. We're going to include a Dropbox link that will have the link to this video, and we encourage all of our partners to go ahead and share it. So not sure how sound is going to go here because we haven't had great luck so far in the webinar, but just take a quick look at our 30-second video that we encourage all of you to utilize. Yeah, it's moving a little slow. But it's got the right messaging, got the right branding, you know, certainly talks about the move to downtown Detroit, highlights that. But what we are going to be providing to you guys in the Dropbox is not only the video, we've got some really cool graphics that we put together in terms of, you know, following our website, you know, here's where you go to purchase tickets, building the excitement for race weekend. We want you guys to be able to take the assets that we have and utilize them and try to help tell the story and build the excitement for the Grand Prix. So be on the lookout for a Dropbox link coming up here later today. Everyone should have the toolkit now. We'll put the toolkit in the Dropbox as well, along with those graphics and the video links. But if there's anything else as we move along here, obviously we're going to be really, really active on our social channels over the next 30 days here. You're going to really see the activity ramp up. We're pretty active as it is during the rest of the year, but you're really going to see a lot of that content go up. So if there's anything that we share, anything that you see us put out there, especially historical images or, you know, some of the build out that we have going on around downtown as the track tries to take shape, you just let us know. We can happily share that information and that content with all of you to help kind of keep the momentum going. So we look forward to hearing from everyone on that. With that, I think we've kind of reached the end of our presentation part of the summit. But we certainly want to open up for questions for any of our partners who are online with us today. If you have a question, you can either use the raise your hand feature. We can recognize you and you can ask your question directly, or if you're a little shyer, like some of us, you can type your question into the chat and we're happy to recognize you and answer any questions that you might have. So now's a good time. Ask questions that you have and we're happy to answer them or at least make up something that sounds good. Any questions?
Merrill, we have one from Rebecca Blanton.
Go ahead, Rebecca. Oh, I think you slipped on to mute there, Rebecca.
Sorry, there we go. Can you hear me now? Hi.
Hi.
So I just have a question. So I love the sizzle video that you just shared, the 30-second one. I was wondering, is there a version of that video that is in a vertical orientation? From the Visit Detroit standpoint, we've seen a lot of engagement with vertical orientation videos, and I just wanted to ask if that was an asset available. If not, that also works, and I'm excited to see the full version and get that Dropbox.
Yeah, probably also excited to hear the audio that goes along with it too, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, no, that's a really good question, Rebecca. We do not currently have a vertical orientated video like that, but that's a really good point. Very easy for our video guys to turn that around and create that in that format. So yes, we'll share what we have on the Dropbox now in the current 16:9 aspect ratio there for the video. But we'll have our guys get to work on something that's vertically orientated, so it's better for if you're looking at it on the camera on a phone. And we'll share that and put that in the Dropbox as well. So appreciate that. It's a good idea.
That sounds amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're so excited to share and get everyone excited to come and attend.
That's awesome. We appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Merrill, we have one in the chat. Actually, it's probably between you and Brian. I don't know which one of you would want to answer, but it's from an anonymous attendee asking, how could we be featured in the end of the day video?
Yeah, I think I can handle this one. It's a really good question, and we certainly want to make that available to all of our partners. Yeah, I think the best thing to do is make sure that we are aware of what you are doing at the Grand Prix, right? Whether you have a display, whether you want to give us access to your suite and capture some footage in there, what your role is and what you are kind of activating. And our guys are around all day capturing video, right? This is what you saw there in the end of the day video is the compilation of about 10 hours of work, right? Because they'll be shooting throughout the course of the day, taking the best stuff, editing it together. The goal is to turn that video around as quickly as possible once the cars are off the track and we're listening to the music and Hart Plaza on the entertainment stage. Hopefully we get that video wrapped up, and we're going to share that around with all of our partners. If we weren't clear on that, that gets emailed around to all of our partners in the evening, and then we'll also obviously post it on our social channels across all of our channels at the end of the day, and we encourage you to do the same. So the best way for you to get incorporated into that is to let us know what you're doing, where you're going to be, and our video crews will catch up with you and make sure that we capture as much content as we can. Can't guarantee everybody can make it in there, but we'll do our best. And the good news is that we have 3 cracks at this and also a wrap-up video at the end, where if we weren't featured on Friday's end of day video, maybe you're on Saturday or Sunday or the wrap-up video too. So we'll do our best to get all of our partners well represented in that video. Another question I think here through the chat, how can we obtain additional information on the opportunities of the track, including the IndyCar race preview and women in motorsport? So we're going to try to have all of this, out on our social channels. I think a lot of what Brian and his team are going to do is setting the schedule, right? The schedule is out there for everyone to see and try to consume and get to the right place. But the other thing that we didn't really mention is we are going to be launching here in the next few days the Detroit GT app. So it's a brand new app that we're launching that's going to have the schedule, what's coming up next, opportunities for people to engage. Probably the most valuable element of the app, in addition to letting people know what's coming and news, breaking news, results, and all that, is the wayfinding feature. Certainly understand new venue, it's new to all of us, right? Don't have a whole lot of expertise and what's the best way to get from point A to point B. So this app will be very valuable with the wayfinding feature, where people will be able to put in one location, where they're at, how they get to the next one. Full GPS capabilities. We're going to be wired really well down here with wireless connectivity. So that's going to be one of the things to keep an eye out for. But all of the activities that were kind of touched on today will all be in the schedule in one way, shape, or form. And especially if it's tied to a specific partner, for example, the Women in Motorsports Team Chevy, I know their social channels will promote the heck out of that. So if you don't see it listed on our schedule, which it should be, you should be able to find it through the individual partner. In that case, it's Team Chevy. Any other questions? Those are some really good ones. One more question. Hart Plaza visuals and the sizzle video look amazing, showcasing how the area will appear activated. Will there be simulated drone photo assets showcasing that in the Dropbox as well. We're kind of limited to what we have available. Obviously, we haven't had a concert in Hart Plaza yet. We will have a lot of that, I'm sure, in the end of the day videos that are highlighted on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. What we have available to us for drone footage and showing all the activity going on in Hart Plaza, really based on the events that have been hosted there. And for anybody in Detroit, you know, that's always a very, very popular area. It's a natural gathering spot. So we're excited to have our Meyer Fan Zone and all of our concerts and entertainment throughout the course of the weekend there. But it will get populated, you know, in the end of day video with a lot of the highlights of what's going on in Hart Plaza. But happy to share what we have now through the Dropbox and the videos that we showed early on in the presentation. You guys are doing great. You're knocking these questions out of the park. Anything else? You're welcome. Awesome. Well, thank you guys. We really appreciate everyone's attention and focus here today. Take one message away is be active, right? I mean, we appreciate all your support around the Grand Prix. We really want to, you know, repay that by showcasing all that you're doing to support this great event, your role in this event. So please take advantage of our team, all the services that they can provide to highlight you and your brands, and really take advantage of that toolkit and utilize the information in there. If there's any other questions that we didn't cover here that you'd like to have answered, we're always available. Please feel free to email us, send us any questions that you might have, and please keep in contact with our teams during race weekend so we know the best way to show what you're doing around the Grand Prix and make sure that we're telling that story on your behalf. So we look forward to everybody. Share as much as you can. Help us promote the Grand Prix, and we'll help promote you and all that you're doing to support this event. So thank you for your time today. We look forward to seeing everybody here down at the track in 30 days. Thank you.